The cloud. Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the Awaken Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you are here live with us on Zoom, welcome, welcome. If you are watching the recording, the replay on YouTube, welcome, welcome. Please do subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these amazing speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their practices, their healings, clearings, processes, etc., so that we can all thrive, so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And so today, my dear friend Beth Herndobler is back with us, and we're going to be talking about the power of surrender in awakening to happiness. And so some of what we're going to talk about, there's so much that's going to be going on during this conversation, but she's going to be sharing her story, and as she is sharing her story, she's going to be, I'm going to say, flowing transmissions of energy as well. So you'll be able to perceive that, and so just be willing to receive. And what's happening during the call is that your frequency is being tuned up in a brand new guided, energetically infused activation with sacred geometry that takes place in the quantum field of all that is. That's always amazing and powerful. And we're going to talk about how to tap into and receive needed support to move into what more is possible for you with ease and grace, why it is easier than you think to establish daily practice to awaken and expand, how to use the power of your breath and being in the present moment to move through shifts, changes, challenges, chaos, and all the crud and stuff of life. So instead of being taken out, you can be lifted up. And you will receive a deeper knowing that no matter what the circumstances and temporary outward appearances of your life, all is and will be well. And I love that part of it's temporary and it's outward. So within it's always calm and ease and peace. So for those of you who may not know Beth, she has been with us many times. We love having her. I love speaking with Beth. I feel like when we're having a conversation that's so full of light, full of love, our energy and vibration frequency gets raised exponentially, and just so many ahas come through our conversation. So she is a soul whisperer. She's a former trial attorney turned energy healer and intuitive spiritual counselor. Beth is a master sacred geometrist and uses these creation symbols in her energy healing practice. She's also a certified intuitive strategist, medium, and divine channel who communicates with your higher self, spirit guides, angels, and ancestors for messages and guidance. Beth combines this guidance with a breakthrough energetic technique that identifies and clears blocks and stuck points and patterns quickly so that you can open to live a life on purpose, in abundance, with ease and grace. And Beth intuitively works with you to heal and realign your energetic body with your mental, physical, and emotional bodies so that you can flow abundantly in the matrix of the truth and light that is you. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Beth back to the show. Beth, welcome.
Thank you for having me. And as you said, while we did discuss surrender as a topic in the summer, it is always and ever important to continue that topic because there's so many layers to surrendering into what more is ours. In fact, listening to you read my bio made me laugh because while I was in Chicago recently for my brother's memorial, there's my sister lives on a block that they're all friends, and if they have an empty apartment or a coach house or something, they share with each other if they have guests or what have you. They have keys to each other's houses. And Bill, whose last name shall remain nameless, lives on the block and always shows up for parties. Like, even if he's not invited, he's a party guy. And I made a joke to my sister, does a celebration of life constitute a party worth crashing for Bill? Long story short, we used his coach house for a family member. So he was actually invited and showed up at my sister's later in the evening. And for the first time, I knew he was a lawyer. And we chatted about this or that. We've had conversations, nothing about the law. He asked me what kind of law I practiced. I said, well, I was a complex tort litigator. What was your major area? I said medical malpractice, but also products liability. And he asked me a few questions of what was your biggest case? And all my stories had to do with fighting for whoever I was representing, not having to do with the biggest recovery or money or whatever, just making sure that justice was done. And then I said, and it felt so good. I surrendered into the past, and it was glorious for those few minutes. And then I said, well, what do you do? Well, I'm the head of the Cook County Complex Tort Litigation Unit, where I had worked in that office, the state's attorney's office, and had a very vexed relationship with that office for a variety of reasons, not needing to be discussed here. But the main one was I was a woman. And I have balls bigger than most men. So that was not a combination that they readily rose to. But Bill heard it in everything I said and offered me a job on the spot. And
Wow.
for that few minutes, when I was completely surrendering into the old days, I was like, oh, this could be good. And honey, I woke up the next day, I said, absolutely not. There is absolutely no way. And that, my friends, is truly the power of surrender. If you go all in, you can quickly allow yourself to see this is absolutely not it, because I didn't go in with an agenda. I just was like, wow, this is real. And it was so affirming, because him recognizing my skill without the politics and sexism and racism and the whole of it that I faced when I worked there was full circle, right? A completion. While it was more than 9 years that I left the practice of law, it was a big completion for me in this 9-year cycle, in this 2025 year of completions, to have my trial abilities recognized simply by the way I presented. Because there are, in shows, if you've followed me, you may have heard it said or read in my bio that trial lawyers are mavericks. They are. They are individuals who are willing to put themselves out there, and there's a lot of performance in being a trial lawyer. It's not the same person as who's going to be doing probate or wills and estates. You know, I mean, it's a different person, and to be recognized allowed me to fully complete any desire, any idea, even the idea that maybe I could actually serve in a new and better way. Nope, not happening. It's over. But it was great. So, point being, a completion can also be a new beginning. A surrender can be an letting go. It can be an opening. The main thing is, if you come from the heart, if you link the heart with your third eye, with that ancient wisdom, that all the answers are in there. If you link the two, and then only then activate the throat, whether you're speaking to yourself or to others, you will be in a state of surrender, and you will awaken to happiness much more quickly. Had I not been in any of that and even pursued what it would take, I mean, 15 years, I have 15 years of continuing legal ed that I would have to do, and the man wants me to try a case in April. The pressure that all that would put on me, the egoic activation, the masculine activation, no way.
Yeah, no, that's in the past. But I love how you were talking about surrender and having this form of completion for that energy of when you used to be a lawyer. Because even though you had quit the profession, whatever, it is still a part of you. It was still a part of you until now, when you can fully let it go. Right?
That's right.
And the thing with surrender is, it's not about giving up, or it's not about quitting, but it is about not having it be a need anymore.
That's right. It's a
right?
letting go.
Yeah, and it's a letting go without force. It's just
That's right.
It's kind of like just a releasing,
You know what it's like? If you're standing in the water and like a body of water, and you just lean back and float.
Yes.
That leaning back is the surrender, and the floating is the divine recognizing that you have submitted to the divine, whatever it is. And again, surrender can be moving forward. It can be an action. Surrender can be a release. It can even just be being in the moment and allowing peace to come in. It can be a nothing of being. It's all those things, which is why it's a topic worthy of discussing over and over and over. Just ask Pat.
And when you were on a show back in August, and I remember, because this is it's a touchy subject for me. For me, it's hard to surrender, or was hard to surrender for me in the past. But from then to now, it's been a few months. There's been so much has changed within my inner reality. So the outward reality is whatever it is,
Right?
But it's the inner reality where I have come to that place of surrender, and it's a different feeling, and
It,
it doesn't really matter what the outward reality is anymore. It's like, okay, fine, it
right?
is what it is. But
It,
inside, I'm at peace, and okay, it's just that feeling of okay,
it
because everybody
changes
knows.
everything, doesn't it?
It changes everything because everybody knows how difficult time I've had for the past couple of years. I feel like my whole life, if I really go back and look at my whole life, it's like, oh my God, I was thinking today, it's like, man, this life has been full of suffering and pain, like mostly 99% suffering and pain, 1% fun, kind of thing. And it's like, even still, it's like, okay, but I'm at peace. It's like,
And
okay.
that surrender and embodiment of that state of peace can shift that programming in your timeline. It can now everything that happens to us is happening for a reason. If it's not pleasurable and fun, then there's a lesson in it. And even if we get the lesson, we may have to get it again because either we have to go deeper or we forget. And yet, when you move into a state of surrender where you're trusting and allowing the greater vision for your life, for your incarnation, when you're allowing the universe to come in, that ancient wisdom in your third eye to be activated so that you can be opened to what is yours to do from a state of surrender, trust, and allowance, everything changes. On my recent trip, the plane left late and we arrived early. That's what happens when you surrender. And why is that significant? Because I was trying to make my 15-year-old nephew's concert for his school. And it was really bumping up. Like it was almost going to be impossible. I get an Uber right away. There's zero traffic on a highway that is always perpetually traffic and under construction. I arrived 10 minutes early to the show and the show started 10 minutes late. That's what happens when you stop having the drag of judgment and fear, doubt, worry. When you surrender, you let all that go and it takes the drag out of your field so you can just flow with ease and grace and everything can work out. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be disruptive times, challenging times, as you've expressed. But I can feel it's going to be different. I would like us to report in 6 months when you're on the other side of the new beginning year that is 2026 and the beginning of the new 9-year cycle. If you continue your focus on surrender, and I challenge you to add gratitude in for that 99% of your life that has been hard and challenging, extend gratitude to it and keep surrendering. And it's going to be like, you're going to flow.
I love that. Absolutely. Because of course the gratitude is there because everything that we experience in our lives, pleasure, pain, suffering, joy, whatever it happens to be, it is all there for us to get to know ourselves, to come back to who we are, to go within instead of focusing on the outer, right? And so I I'm very grateful for all the blessings because it's brought me to where I am now.
That's right.
Right. And where you, and this is for all of us, where you are now is where you're meant to be. But can you see the magic in how you got to where you are? And like as I'm speaking, I'm like starting to sweat. I'm like feeling so much heat because I know, as I said at the beginning, that when we're having this conversation, you're going to be streaming transmissions and frequencies, etc. And I'm definitely feeling them. And I encourage all of you to really look at your patterns in your past and where you are, like from as far back as you can remember to where you are now, and see what a gift this life has been. And yes, I definitely have to still work a little bit more on the gratitude, like actually, not just feel it, but bring it in more on a regular basis, consistent basis, right? And because it's true, surrendering, because I used to say I'm a recovering control freak, but that was because I wasn't surrendering. I was trying to control everything because I was not trusting. I was trying to control everything because I was judging, right? So for those of you who may also be recovering control freaks, look at that, right? So Beth, what do you have to say about us recovering control freaks?
Well, I used to describe myself as a triple type A, you know how they say type A and all. So what I have to say is congratulations, you have a lot to work through. And it can be as easy as choosing every day to be actively in a state of a gratitude practice and to then surrender into the divine will, the divine call, the divine whatever, because it isn't my way is the only way, my way or the highway. That's the energy of an OCD type AAA. I know best. But when you're surrendered, you're releasing all that and you're saying, okay, show me what is mine to do and I'll do it. And that takes so much stress and tension out of your body. So your body is not alerting and inflaming because it thinks it's being attacked, leading you to this or that dis-ease, discomfort. And it also allows you a whole lot more space if you're not sitting there worrying about whether this or that is going to happen today or what, all the things that you keep. I mean, when I look at this, one of the things that happened when I was in Chicago, which was very interesting, my whole world is in a paper Franklin planner. Literally, I even have pendulums in there. Everything is in there. I forgot it in Chicago for the very first time. So this is, I gotta look at myself to see if you guys can see this because I'm not looking.
Yeah, we can see it.
There we go. Okay. It's a mess, right? It's a big old mess. And I saw that and started laughing. I'm like, and that's what you think is keeping your life moving? These arrows and stars and angles and other notes on the back. And here's the other sheets. And I just laughed at myself and I said, get over it and feel. Be in this moment and stop worrying about being in charge. Because if being in charge was the answer, we wouldn't have climate change. We wouldn't have poverty. We wouldn't have a whole lot of negative things because everyone would be in a flow state of all needs met. Everyone would regard each other as the light beings that we are and worthy of respect and whatever we need to live a happy, healthy life. It's us thinking we know better than source, than Mother Nature, than all the elementals, than all the divine energy that gets us into trouble. So let it go, just like that. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to remind yourself every day. It is a practice. Surrender, gratitude, like meditation, like eating well, drinking clean water, spending time in nature, moving, all of those are a practice. Being happy is a practice. If you don't feel it, put a smile on your face. The brain doesn't know the difference. If you just walk around like this, I'm telling you it works. I have done it while I'm crying, and it makes the tears dry up faster. Now, that is not to say don't cry. If you have 1,000 tears to cry and you cry 999, you're not done. Let the tears cleanse. And remember, if you smile, your brain's going to get happy. Do the things that support you. That's what I say to those like you. Do the things that support you. And if being OCD type AAA, keeping your crazy planner, I need my planner. I'm not giving my planner up. I do recognize it is a crutch. It is a prop. And it is necessary for the mundane. It is not necessary for the safety, the comfort, the control that it gives me. That's what I'm learning, not having it for almost a week.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't have a planner like that. I basically just use Google Calendar just so that I can keep track of these shows. But that's it. For me, it's like, yeah, it's oh, good boy. For me, I like to be more in the flow if I can, but we still have to be in this world where we are
That's right.
doing. We are still planning, we are still taking care of business, we're still doing stuff, but at the same time, even that, we do it and then we surrender. It's like, you know what,
That's
it'll be
right.
whatever it will be.
That's right. Because if you get attached, right, whether it's to a trapped emotion that you're attached to, you want to hold on to that pain because it doesn't feel good not to be in pain, whether it's your planner, whether it's your OCD, it doesn't matter if you shop too much, if you drink too much, if you laugh too much when you should be serious, if you don't ever laugh. All these things, it's not the thing, it's what it means to you.
Mm.
And the
Yeah.
whole point is of all of it is to stay right here, right now in the now moment, because always it's now, now, now. We've done this before, right? On this show. Now. That's it. And if you're trying to control something that already happened, which I am making notes on my sheet that I'm going to diary on the planner sheet for that day. So reaching back into the past, because Lord knows someday I might need to look at that planner to remember what I did. It has happened a handful of times in the 30 years I've used a Franklin planner, but there is comfort that I have in that attachment to the past that is reflected there, sort of like a mundane journal, if you will. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you let it go. But if I have to, if I'm unable to function, then there's something to be examined, because that is not how we are meant to be. We are meant to be right here, right now with me. Especially on this 12/12 day, this portal that is open, and at least in Pacific time, we started this, which opened a huge, I had already opened a vortex for this call, but the starting at noon, 12/12 at 12. There's so much bountiful energy happening and flowing right now. So actually, can we do a little activation?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. So if everyone, I'm going to turn my camera off, and everyone, if you haven't already, do so, because when we do activations, we want to be turned in, not turned out, as we always are in life. So close your eyes and bring your attention into your third eye. Imagine that you can stand within your third eye and just bask in that violet indigo energy. Allow it to harmonize with your conscious mind, so that what is yours to know in terms of divine and ancient wisdom is available to you. Take a breath into that third eye. And now drop your attention to your root chakra. Imagine extending a red tree trunk root down into the center of Mother Earth, into her heart. There's a golden fire. Lock your red tree trunk in there, and then draw the grace light from Mother's heart up along your tree root, and feel that energy enter your feet and bring that gold energy all the way up to your heart space. Now imagine you're standing in your heart space, and you're going to extend a diamond white light up through your crown. Send it all the way up to the edge of the galaxy and beyond. You're going to lock your diamond white light into the energy first of the Pleiades, and then to Lemuria, and now to Arcturus. Fret not if you don't know what these are, where they are. Your higher self knows, just intend it be so. And now draw all that heavenly constellation energy down along your white light. Bring it all the way back to your crown. Let it pause in your third eye, gathering data for that third eye to remember who you are. The truth and light of you as a divine sovereign being of love, light, and service. And now run all that energy from above down to your heart, where it connects with the gold and even with the red at the root. Just take a breath in there. Open the back body of your heart chakra. And now release the new consciousness grid out from the whole of you. You're tapping into the new consciousness grid that flows in through and as each one of us and the earth and all the galaxies. Just take another deep breath in as you connect with the all that is. And now bring your attention back to your heart space. Deeper within your heart, there's a portal that allows you to pass through it, to enter the infinite field that all that is, of all that is, the quantum field, that meadow. Pass through that heart space and you find yourself at the edge of the meadow. Just take a look at what's going on, who's showing up for you, who's coming to greet you. Could be ancestors, angels, animals, fairies, devas, dragons. Just notice and make your way to the white circular clearing at the center of the meadow and stand in the center of it. The 1212 energy that reduces to a 3 and a 3, that energy of the Trinity, is what we are tapping into right here, right now, in this white circular clearing. So notice that underneath your feet, there's a triangle upside down. It's as if you are standing on the base of that triangle, and above your head, above your crown, there's another pyramid that is faced in the normal upright position. Notice that as you bear witness to these two energies representing the availability of the energy in the 1212 portal, are supporting you, cocooning you, anchoring you in the 1212 energy. And as that anchoring occurs, the pyramid, the triangle, expands to a pyramid that expands further out, further out, further out, until the one below you and the one above you extends about arm's distance around you. And through the energy emanating down from the pyramid above you and that emanating up from the one below, there is a knot, a golden filament coming from each one that is going to be tied into a knot in the center of your heart. There you go. And now we're going to weave another golden thread left and right, tying knots out there. And then underneath you goes another filament with a knot tied at the base and one going above. The ones above and below are anchored into the pyramids. Take a breath in and receive the 1212 3-3 energy of the Trinity, of the all that is. Feel it as you breathe it, as you become it. It is through the energy of this 1212 portal reduced to the Trinity, right? That energy is what is allowing you in the remaining 19 days of 2025 to slough off into the pyramid through the golden filaments and the knots, out your feet with your exhale, however you are called to complete everything that you are done with that needs letting go. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, release into the pyramids, into the golden filament, into the knots, that which is ready to be done and left behind, marked as complete, released back into the ethers. Breathe in and let go. Surrender into the release of that which no longer serves, no matter how cozy and comfortable it may be at a given moment. If it is no longer serving, let it go. Breathe in And release completions. One more time. Allow your mental, physical, emotional, and energetic bodies, as well as your physical, to prompt you as to what needs letting go. Breathe in and release out. Now notice from the angle, if you had your arms, which you can do, place your arms in a V over your head. There is divine white and purple light mixed with turquoise and gold coming in from both the left and the right angle, balancing the divine masculine and the divine feminine, remembering that the right brain divine feminine is the leader, and the left brain masculine, that OCD triple type A aspect of us, is the servant, not meant to take action unless she directs. Allow that transformation, reorganization, and recalibration of the masculine and feminine within you to be perfectly balanced harmonically to the set point that you need. Breathe in. It is done, it is done, it is done, and so it is, and so it shall be, now and forevermore. Put a smile on your face. Express gratitude to yourself for being here, for showing up, for being willing, and gratitude to all those who showed up for you in the meadow. And make your way back to the portal. Pass through that portal to your heart space and return to your heart. Take another breath, just allowing yourself to gather all the energy together that has come through this transmission, activation, and quick journey. And now open your eyes if you haven't already and take a look about the space that you're in, noticing what you notice, what's shifted or changed. Know that this is an evergreen activation that you can do anytime, even if we are no longer in the 1212 energies, to activate the Trinity that is the heart of all of the divine. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Cannot quite open my
You
eyes
look
just
so
yet.
luminous, absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, these energies,
Wow.
they do wonders. Right? Yeah, beautiful. That was so powerful. I could stay in that space. I could just stay in that meadow. I could just stay and receive those frequencies and those codes. And when you mentioned just even now, thanking the beings who came for us during this short process, it's like so much gratitude for the support, right? The support that we receive on a regular basis, with sometimes even without us asking. They're always there. The support is always there. Um,
I had
and
the
it's not
most amazing always there experience walking through O'Hare Airport in Chicago. So my brother, who I was there to celebrate him home, he had it had probably been a month since he had transitioned, and I was so sad when I was walking through the airport. I mean, usually I can't wait to get out of Chicago, and especially there was a blizzard, historically high snow in November. There was a polar vortex, but it was being connected to so many family members. My mom is 90, my oldest brother is no longer embodied, and I was so sad, like kept hearing the old Christopher Cross song, for those of you old enough to remember, when you get caught between the moon and New York City, the best that you can do is fall in love. So I kept changing the words in my head to when you get caught between Chicago and California, the best that you can do is be in love. And I'm trying not to cry, and I have a really long walk, and I just felt so alone. And all of a sudden, I felt my brother's hand slip into mine. And it was the most amazing sensation because it was quite clear he was not next to me, he was behind me. But because he's not in a body, he can do whatever he wants. So he's walking behind me, but holding my hand. And I just busted out laughing. And he said, "See, don't you feel better?" That's what happens when you feel what you feel, when you deal with what you need to deal with, when you acknowledge and don't push down with activity whatever is coming through, you get divine support. Because later, once I got home, this beautiful, glowing, enormous golden presence came right behind me, and it's been there ever since. And then to make it all even more full rounded, you get exactly what you need. I was called to register and pay for a viewing of a documentary called When an Owl Calls Your Name by the SAND people, Science and Non-Duality. It's a couple who make spiritual documentaries. And I just love their work. It's all indigenous based, and I'm always learning. So that was why I was watching the movie yesterday. I was doing the as much of the workshops as I could, but the movie was the main thing that I had enrolled for. And I was sitting right here last night watching it when this indigenous chief says, "When an owl calls your name, it's time to go." And everything, just complete body chills. Why? Twice in my life, I have heard an owl, and I arguably can say the owl called my name. 2 great horned owls when I first moved to Altadena. Within days, I heard them. And then after the evacuation, when I was at my daughter's for 10 months, within a week or 2, I heard an owl. Now, that is not too far from downtown Pasadena, where my daughter lives. It is not an owl place. I mean, we're close to the mountains. But hearing, "When an owl calls your name, get ready to go," was so impactful and so powerful. It was a message coming about something that I wondered about for the past year and 2 years that I didn't even remember or knew that it was important. Like when I saw that workshop that was called When an Owl Calls Your Name, the Eternal Song is the name of the platform. I'm like, well, everything the Eternal Song and Sand does, I'm down for, so let me do it. I was not consciously connected that the divine was giving me the support I needed, because the question of why I've had these experiences is still there. And obviously, I need to remember I am not going to be here that much longer, here in this area. Get ready to go. So the welcome that I thought it was like, oh, wow, the owls are welcoming. Yes, they were welcoming me to go. I misinterpreted it slightly. And yet when I needed the full interpretation, it arrived. I mean, we're about to be, January 7th is the 1-year anniversary of the fire, and it will be a year and a half before that. So 2.5 years ago is when I heard those owls. So all that to say, don't get nervous. Nothing is going to happen faster than you're ready for. I'm still here. I have a lease that goes till next September. I'm not getting out. I am taking it in. I am surrendering to the wisdom of the owl and adding in the new information that I didn't have before. Because I looked up, what does it mean? And from a bunch of different perspectives, I took that, including the welcoming and knowing and being, seeing all around you, stay aware, all that. I did not get the Native American, well, it's actually Canadian. They're Indigenous Canadians, that the person who said that. I didn't have that interpretation, and it was important, so the divine provided it. That's the support that's available.
I love that. And that is so important, that support from the divine, from Mother Nature, from the beings of light is always available. And sometimes we don't understand it when we get it, like when we receive a message or some sort of support or information. Sometimes we don't understand it, but eventually we will, right? So, and that's to say the support is always there for us. Are we willing to be still and receive it and ask for interpretation, ask for clarification, ask what does this mean?
And surrender while you're waiting for that information to come through, because I have had that sense. I mean, you can ask anyone that I'm close to, including regular clients. I've had the sense my time is winding up. So I got the message. I mean, I received the energy. I put it that way to make it easier to understand. I didn't get the message that that's what the owl was telling me. That will then allow me to open up. The next time I hear an animal, a bird, I'm paying a lot more attention now, because sometimes, as my father, who appears in crow form often, has said to me, babe, sometimes a crow is just a crow. It's not always me. You have to check and see if it's me. It's not always me. Sometimes an owl is just being an owl. But if you get still and receive, as you said, if you surrender into what is happening right now, what is being transmitted to me, that's when you'll get what you need, even if you don't know it up here until 2.5 years later.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything that is happening, and you said this earlier, but everything that is happening to us is happening for us. It's actually on another level, it's happening through us as well, right? And so if we're willing to look at life in that way as well, that everything that is happening for us, for our highest good, for our awakening, for our evolution, for our expansion in consciousness, we're going to have a different perspective on what's happening.
That's right. And that, what you just said, puts me in mind of an aha moment that I had yesterday while viewing that film. And I highly recommend it to it's a very hard film to watch, because the residential schools in Canada are a part of the background of the story. And yet it is very powerful and important, because it talks about the connection that we have to the earth and how important and primal it is, and how many of us are missing that. I mean, as I have said many times, it was said in the film, the earth does not need humanity, human beings, but human beings need the earth to survive. So get that order right. In the process of all that, what came through for me so strongly that I now offer to you and everyone, whether in this now moment live or in the future now moment on a replay watching, being a healer is a vibration that you carry within you. If you are a healer, in order to actually heal, you have to start with yourself. And that work of healing, what you're describing, that moving in, what we're talking about in general, all the practices that need to be embodied, that work to heal yourself makes you a literal tuning rod of healing. You don't even have to do anything but go forward in light and walk through the village, the town, the city center, wherever you are, spreading light with your very essence, your very beingness. That is being a healer. And then when you understand how it works, then you can go on and assist and guide others to healing. But do not for 1 second not see that each and every one of you in your very beingness is healing everyone around you. The trees, the plants, the air, all the elementals, yourself, others, we're all one. So by just showing up to this show, you are expanding the field of healing energy for everyone to tap into. So remember, just by being you, you're a healer.
Absolutely. And just by being you, you are helping and supporting everyone around you, right? So it's not a doing, it's just a being. And as you be, you just radiate that essence of your being out into the world, and whoever, wants to receive it will receive it. There's no force, there's no push, there's no, anything like that. It's just being you. And and part of that being you is accepting you, not judging you,
Right.
loving you to a point if you can, like I always say, love is such a tricky word, but at least accepting you and being appreciative and grateful for you because you are an expression of source. And if you can remember all the time that you are an expression of source, that judgment will also fall away.
That's
Any
right.
judgment that you may have of yourself will fall away because you'll start to see that that is just a story and that is not real. That is not the true you. You are the essence, the source consciousness that you are. That is the truth of you. And so, that the beingness and surrendering and being happy and all that wonderful stuff happens when we surrender and just let go and just be and allow ourselves to be without the identity, without the story, without anything, just being you. And when you're just being you, nothing else nothing else matters, right?
That's right.
So if we can just take a few minutes every day and just be, and really that's what, when we talk about meditation, etc., that's really all it is giving you that time and space to just be for a few minutes and be and know that you are source, creator, God, etc., right? I don't want to say connect to because you are that already, but just a few minutes and you'll start to recognize that the essence of who you are. And then what you're surrendering is all the other stuff, all the stories, all the
That's right.
identification, all the attachments. That's what we're surrendering. We're not surrendering who we are, the essence of us, but all the other things that our personality self, even, right? Surrendering that to what is in the present moment. It's such a, when you get it, you finally, like, when you get it, you get it, right? And for years, I didn't get it. It's like, I don't understand what surrender is. What are you talking about? I honestly didn't get it, so, but when you
It's good
finally get it,
and that you kept allowing the space for it to come through in the divine right and perfect timing. And along with not judging yourself and others, a really solid practice to assist you in a deeper state of surrender is forgiveness. Because if you forgive yourself and you forgive all others, if you recognize where you are being the victim, well, then the perpetrator needs forgiveness too, because no one is being mean, angry, callous, horrible, victimizing other people, raping the land and all that, who's whole and happy and healthy in their heart. Something was done to them, and the sooner that we can break that cycle of intergenerational trauma, the sooner that we can all get what we're all looking for, which is that flowing state of peace that you referenced. So along with the surrender, the gratitude, and all the daily practice aspects that I preach, forgiveness is huge. The ancient Kahuna forgiveness prayer of reconciliation is so powerful. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thanks, I love you. Because as long as anyone is still wounded, whether they're the perpetrator or the victim, we can't any of us all elevate because we are all one. Dog activity. So here's what I want to say to each and every one of you. Do the work that allows you to be able to open to what more is possible for you. And I'm looking at what Tina wrote a bit ago that she agrees so much. I haven't had those extreme things happen. If I hadn't had those extreme things happen, I would not be me. Understanding and compassion for others and myself. And in that, see, that we can substitute forgiveness or add that in. It's all necessary. Everyone is a divine child of creator, of source, of the universe. We are all expressing in different ways because we need catalysts to grow, to wake us up. If everybody was all blissed out all the time, we wouldn't be making progress with our unearthing of what is lying beneath that needs clearing out so that we can move forward. I mean, remember, this realm, the earthly realm, is the divine grand experiment of seeing if a realm can be shifted from fear to love, from anger and hostility and separation and opposition and us versus them, all the othering, to oneness and love. And we're still in the midst of that experiment. The breakthrough is continuing. The breakdown is continuing. The breakthrough is beginning. And I do believe it's going to happen. Will I see it? You know, the eternal now of the new consciousness earth be fully embodied in my lifetime? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's happening. And yes, it can. As Michelle just said, thank you. It can. And if it doesn't, that does not, you see, you can't, that's an attachment. If I require proof to believe, if I require seeing that what I believe is happening, then it's not really faith, is it? So do the work, be the one. And since Alara is, okay, let me see, there's new. If you have a question, yes, Pat, compassion. That's it, because nobody's doing anything that wasn't done to them or taught to them. So if anyone would like to interact with me right now, if you have a question, we can move on to that through the chat, because I don't have the capacity to unmute or do all those things. But it's important at this time. I mean, it's always important, but this time we are at a pivotal point in the breakdown. So it's time to get serious, and it is beyond time to leave here in this year that which we don't want to carry forward with us. Stop dragging the baggage. You'll, travel light. No need to check. You don't even need a check bag. Just flow. So it's happening. Oh, there we go.
Anybody else have any questions or comments about what we've been talking about? Yes, and absolutely. Forgiveness, I think, is a huge piece, especially forgiving ourselves. All forgiveness is really, for me anyways, it's about forgiving myself for my reactions, my actions, sometimes the knowledge I didn't have at the time, right? But yes, we can forgive other people, but I think really we need to forgive ourselves more than
That's
anything
right.
else, right? And that
I think, agree. It's the hardest part. We often forgive others before we forgive ourselves.
Yeah.
And again, that's the wrong order, because if you aren't embodying a state of forgiveness and non-judgment and compassion towards yourself, you're not going to be fully able to give that to anyone else.
Yeah. In the past, I used to say, I'm very good at not judging others, forgiving others, all that wonderful stuff. But I was very hard on myself, right? I was very critical of myself and hard on myself. And, but I realized as well that like you just said, until you can truly forgive yourself, accept yourself, love yourself, you can't love and accept and forgive as much as you think you are trying to do. Like
that's right.
There's it's missing. There's still a piece missing. But when you can truly forgive yourself, then it flows more freely and more completely, I find.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Always start with yourself and then let it ripple out to all others. Yeah, and it has to, because if you can remember that we all are one anyways, right? So if you cannot forgive yourself, you're not really forgiving others. If you cannot love yourself, you're not really loving others as much as you can. The possibility, the potential that's there, and you may not even know it.
And if you're holding judgment of someone else in your heart, you cannot possibly fully flow. You can't.
Yeah.
Because it's like you've got this rock, this brick right here, there, everywhere. You're not able to flow. And Jackie, it is hard. Trying to be a being, dealing with the difficult daughter. Yes, believe me, I understand that. I was having a conversation about, what's it all about, Alfie, with my mother a few months ago. And she said, I think the original separation is embodiment. That the minute the soul hits the body, And you see this with little kids. She said, you know, when you see a baby, you're laying on their back and going like this, and then they go like, watch. They're looking like, wait, what is this thing? What is this? That's why we have to learn to stand, to sit, to crawl, to walk, all the things, because even if we've done this 1,000 times, every time we come down, it's a forgetting and a remembering, but it's all in there, right? And if we remember how much intelligence is within, it makes it a lot easier to deal with the embodiment, because I think it is very hard. A friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, deeply spiritual person, who said years ago, when I quit practicing law and moved out here, she smiled and said, now we'll see what you really can get up to. And I said, what do you mean? And I've been watching you struggle doing the dance between practicing law and your spirituality for all these years. Now I want to see what you are when you're cut loose. And that's why we hold on, because we fear that sensation of what does it mean to, the freedom can be overwhelming, the peace, that sense that you said of, I want to go there and stay there. Well, you can't stay there because it's a different realm. You have to come back here. And as Jackie said, that's the work, to figure out how to be in a body. So no, you're not alone. We're all here. We're all doing it.
And it is about working through the layers. Absolutely. Right. So we work through a little piece. We enjoy life the best we can. We work through another piece. We enjoy life, and we keep going. Right.
Right.
And some people don't like that statement about always having to heal or work through or whatever, but we're always going to be. It's just different layers and different openings within us as we continue to do the work. And the work doesn't have to be difficult. It can just be as simple as sitting and being with yourself. Right. And that's what we have to come back to, is that it can be easy. It can be simple as just sitting with yourself for a few minutes. Tina, you've raised your hand. Do you have a question for Beth?
Yeah, it's a little bit of advice. Okay, nobody take offense or anything, but my sister has taken up reading the Bible to extreme, and now she's backing it at me, and she's afraid for my soul, and and I'm going to go to hell, and all these other kind of things. And I just said, please stop. I'm okay. Trust me. I know I'm okay. And I finally just had to hang up on her. With holidays, everything else, like, how do you? I just try to walk away from it and not have a conversation about it. She's allowed to believe and do whatever she wants. What upsets me about when people do that, and then they push it back on me and say, you're a bad person because you don't do what I do. So I don't know how you have to
now
that.
First of all, let's start with the hell thing. That movie, the documentary, When an Owl Calls Your Name, that came up, of course, because the residential schools were all Catholic based. And one of the survivors said, and the question always comes up, why didn't the children run away? It was because of the threat of hell. They were already indoctrinated very quickly with that threat. If you don't do what we say to do, you're going to hell. So the power of what your sister is misguidedly embodying is that severe that you can be kidnapped basically from your family as a child and abused, and you still don't run away because of the threat of hell and the promise of the salvation of heaven if you do it our way. It's challenging, Tina, and it won't be easy. And yet everything we've just been talking about, which obviously is why you're bringing the question up now, is what you need to extend to your sister. Compassion, forgiveness, and even understanding that however misguided from your perspective, my perspective, the perspective of the all that is, that she is, it's her journey. And if she has to go through the blind faith to a religiosity and a paradigm of patriarchal structure represented in religiosity that is not anchored in truth and light, that's her business, not yours. It is your business to set boundaries as you did and not continue a conversation, perhaps decline an invitation. If she can't agree to some ground rules, like we just don't discuss this, you are, if you want to pray for my soul, go right ahead, but I don't want to talk about it with you. And if you can't do that, then let me just love you from over here. I can't be with you.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. And she's even now got my 21-year-old daughter sucked into it. And I'm like, you know what? That's my daughter's journey also.
That's
I
right.
cannot change anybody else. And I'm so glad. I'm almost going to start crying, but I'm so glad for places
That's okay.
like this.
Cry.
Places like this that I've come and become such, and amongst all the crazy things that happened my whole life, I feel so much love when I come here with Shefali and, like the people, like with you on here. It's just so, like, I just wish other people could understand what love's really out there. Like, it's hard for me to see the ugliness because I just see so much beauty. Like the gentleman I take care of tells me, like he's always so negative. I'm like, but I don't see it that way. Like, I just don't see it that way.
It is, and this is something that Jackie wrote in a comment that said that it's hard to deal with a difficult daughter. I have that too. I have a daughter I'm estranged from. I haven't seen her in 3 years. I don't even know where she is. She doesn't want anybody in the family to have anything to do with her. It's her journey. If my heart hurts, it's my job to heal that heart. It is not my job to try to get her back, try to tell her anything, try to help her heal. She's doing what she needs to do, and I have to let her do it. If you are still taking care of being in charge of trying to impact a child who is an adult's life, you're out of order. Your role was to bring them through and set them on. And I don't hear you doing that. I hear you setting her on. And even Jackie, when you talk about the harshness you get from your daughter, knocking you down, especially if you're tired, that is what happens. And when that happens, we just notice it. We take a breath. We do what we need in that moment. If we need to cry, again, remembering if there's one more tear that has to fall, you got to let it fall. Even when you're tired, I get tired of crying sometimes. So I don't cry at that moment, but later I will. Don't suppress. Don't relinquish. Don't give in. Give over. Give your sister and your daughter over to the divine. Let them sort it out and simply set your boundaries with love and compassion. If the harshness that Jackie referred to and that you seem to be experiencing, that I know I have, if it gets to be too much, then you need to back out and not be present to it. Cannot shift any.
Knowing it's all okay to back out, and
That's right.
And it's actually a gift to myself to walk away than to continue on something. And I think I did all this on my own. I didn't have my family around, and if I had somebody trying to stop me from all those lessons that I learned, then I wouldn't be here.
That's right. That's right.
Like as hard as it is to watch your children do the things, and we have to give them that blessing to learn. Like the things even with my grandson that she's doing, like it's so hard as a grandmother going, but it's like, but it's her family, not mine.
And they came to her, right? They came to her as the mother, as the grandmother, but you're still in there, right?
Yeah, they chose her to be not me. I'm the outside loving him from a distance at this moment. And when I see him, I get to throw all the love to him, but I don't need to tell them how to do it.
That's right. Absolutely. Because why? What did we hear earlier? Being a healer is being a healer by your very vibration. You don't have to do or say anything. Be it. Lead the light life that is yours to do, that you know is yours to do. Just like you would put a stone in a pond to skip it. Someone mentioned in the chat, you do the thing, and I think that was you, Miss Shayla, the ripple effect out. Come from love, come from compassion, work forgiveness, and don't try to talk to them on the human level. Talk soul to soul in prayer, in meditation, in your time in stillness and silence. Call in their higher self and then believe it when you have an exchange. Just believe whatever happens, because that's where you can make the most impact on someone who's lost in the left brain mental mind nonsense the ego puts out. There's heaven and hell, and you're going to go to hell if you don't follow the way I tell you to go to heaven.
I think it's too funny. Like, I think this was part of living in hell.
Exactly.
But I'll stop the subject now. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you,
And
Tina.
I will hold space for everyone who, and myself, who is dealing with this over the holiday season, whatever the reason is, whether it's personal, whether it's political, religious, whatever brings strife and dissension in your loved ones' connections this holiday season. I send you light, and I offer you a story. Jerry Hewitt, a wonderful healer that I love, very high energy, comes from a family of, like, I don't know what their religion is, but they're definitely not doing the woo-woo stuff he's doing. And one Christmas, his mother, who always said, you know, I don't want to know or hear this, I believe in the Bible, and whatever you're doing, I don't want to know about it. No fighting was happening. Nobody got drunk. But nothing bad was going on through their whole Christmas holiday. And his mom comes up to him and says, "You're doing something. I know you're doing something, Jared. What are you doing?" And he just smiled. And she said, "Don't tell me, but keep doing it." And she walked away. What he was doing was playing Hertz frequencies of peace and love and light on silent the whole time he was there. So he was shifting the energy with what he was doing without ever having the conversation about any of it. Nobody knew what he was doing, and it still had an impact.
Absolutely. That is so powerful, because it is all about frequency, right?
Oh.
And it's not about forcing or making somebody change their belief or think differently or anything. It's just he was playing these frequencies, and
it
with
shifted
the
knowledge
energy. that it would shift the energy. Absolutely. And we can all do that, right? We all have access to these frequencies on our phones, etc. We can all do that, but it's not about, I'm going to change these frequencies because I want these people to change. It's not about that, right?
It's not I want to be here. I want to be able to be here. And this is how I know it can happen. And understand too that saying no, when you, like for Tina to say, "I'm not coming," that is something that may be the yes to herself that she needs. If it's going to take you out and tear you down, don't participate. Or
Absolutely.
Ask the divine for what is in your highest good, and whether it can be shifted. That's something that comes through is not that good for you to do. What, like Jackie was saying, if she's tired, she can't handle the harshness of her daughter. So when you're tired, don't answer the phone, don't answer the text, don't go around her. If you know that, don't do it. Saying no, Warren Buffett said this once in answer to a question someone asked, "What do you attribute, if you could only attribute your success to one thing, what would it be?" And he said, "Saying no." Because when I say no to something that isn't for me to do, I would say something that isn't in my highest good. Obviously, he doesn't talk like that, but then I'm saying I'm leaving space for the yes that is mine to do. And that's true on all levels. If we are constantly trying to fix and heal others or our relationship, or bend and shift the way we're presenting, that's not going to work. Be you and say no if that's what is in your highest good. And play the frequencies. It does make a difference.
Absolutely. You know, before I got into energy and angels and guides and all that wonderful stuff, before that, I was going through a difficult time, and my brother and sister-in-law were, like, we just were not getting along. So I did not visit with them. I didn't come to Toronto. I just said no for a few years, because it's like, I'm dealing with my own stuff. I need to work on myself. I need to, do stuff. I don't need that energy in my field right now. I'm already vulnerable and compromised. I don't need any more. So I'm going to say no. Right. And Of course, my mother didn't like that because she wants the whole family to be all together, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I'm not coming. Right. And so, now, years later, of course, everything is fine. And so if they invite me over, yeah, sure, or they'll come over, yeah, sure, no problem. But at that time, I needed to focus on me. I needed to think about me and what was right for me. Right. So,
That's right.
and that's what I did then. But even now, I could still do that, of course. But I'm now with them, so it's fine. It's fine. So think about yourself and what do you need, and don't compromise yourself if you can. Because it's not worth it. Like if I know at the state I was in at that time, if I would have come and if they would have said something to me, I would have freaked out, and there would have been a whole big thing. Right. So at that time I could not trust my emotions, right? I could not control myself. So I was like, nope, I'm not going. And it was better
That's
that way.
wise. That's completely wise, because I had a couple days after my brother's memorial, which happened on the day that 9 inches of snow was falling. And I've been in California 15 years. I don't even own boots. So I'm out there navigating, driving, and doing all this stuff to go to the space and do all the things. And I can't feel too much of anything because I'm participating. I'm the first speaker, and I know there's people like my brother's old work friends that we used to go drinking with that I haven't seen in 30 years or 20 years or whatever it is. It was going to take a lot out of me. And I don't mean in a bad way. It was going to take a lot of my energy to be the person I needed to be. And it all went fine. And then that was Saturday. Tuesday, I had a massage by a woman who also does Reiki. And the very first thing she said was, can you do some breath work while you're on the table? Your masculine is really out of alignment with, and she had given me a massage the prior week. So she knew where I was when I first got there. And it made so much sense that I was misaligned because I had to fulfill my human mundane duties. I had to activate that masculine. And then I had to go back and sit there and meditate and be in stillness and silence and reclaim myself and my truth and center, because I don't want to be, that's who I was all those years. When I started training, the assessment of my masculine and feminine was 80% masculine. And I got it down to 60. And the teacher said, but mostly we want everybody to be 50-50. But for you're not going to function well there. You just leave it here at 60. And she's right. I do need that. That's who I am. That's my antenna, my lightning rod. I'm always going to present louder, bigger, and I'm talking energetically, louder, bigger, brighter, because that's how I came in. And I need that masculine to keep it anchored into a way that is comfortable for me. That doesn't mean that I let that egoic masculine run amok. I still am regulating him, but he has a little more space in my field than he may in yours.
I think you mentioned something earlier today, or I just remember hearing you say, I think it was during the meditation, was, we have the masculine, it does the actions, but it takes guidance from the feminine, right? And so the masculine acts when it receives guidance or instructions from the feminine. So it's about keeping that in balance, but without going to extremes. And sometimes I go over because I was like, I'm pushing and I have to, I have a timeline and deadline. I got to get this done, this done, this done. But then I need to come back. I need to come back and center and connect to the essence of who I am, so that it can come back into balance and be more in alignment, right?
Yes.
And so these are daily, regular practices that we need to do for ourselves.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but to that point that people have been expressing of how hard it is. And when you get kind of offsided by something someone did or said, that's why doing the daily practice every day is so important. Because even if you do get blindsided by something a loved one says or does, you can catch it. And then you don't go down that rabbit hole with them. You say, okay, right away, you go into light mode as opposed to damage control. And you say, what is mine to do? And perhaps what is yours to do is to leave that space. Or if you have the opportunity, as you said, to decline the invitation and say, no, thanks, I'm not coming.
Yeah. Yep. You do you. You do what works for you, right? But always come from the heart space for yourself, not from the mind or ego, but just from your heart about what do I need right now? What do I need today? What works for me today? And there are many times when it's like, I need to just relax, do nothing, veg, calm my system down, and sit and meditate, and what's the word that's coming to me? Just compress. Sometimes
You
we need
know,
to compress.
absolutely. I've done a lot of somatic trauma therapy since the fire. And one of the things that was one of the most powerful tools from healing from deep trauma is sleep.
Yes.
And my grandson was in a pretty bad car accident a month or so ago. He's okay. He'll be okay. But this is the one, though I call him the Buddha boy, this is the one that's like yeah, let's do it with the tricks on snowboarding and skateboarding and all these. So injury is not something unknown to him. He is very well, concussion, whiplash, broken bones, all that stuff. So he had a really bad concussion, really bad, worse than anything he's ever had, like has to be off school, can't handle any stress. And as my daughter was relaying what the doctor said, I'm like, holy mackerel. And why like angry outburst, emotional outburst. His brother, D1, is the best school you could go to for sports. He said, he's being a D1 a-hole right now to his girlfriend. You want me to drive you home? I mean, that's how bad it was. And when I was hearing all this dysregulation that like you're talking about, I'm like, whoa, I don't have a physical concussion, but emotionally, my brain and nervous system is concussed. And what is it that he's supposed to do? Stay in quiet, dark, sleep, rest. And as I said, the somatic trauma healing, they said rest is sometimes the only thing that will let your nervous system re-regulate. So all the things that you just said about what we need to do for ourselves are things that we were programmed into as being selfish, and you're not thinking about anyone else. Baloney, that's backwards. We need to think of ourselves first, because if we are not online, we are not giving light. We are giving friction, stress, anger. I have had explosions where I'm in the midst of going off on someone and I cannot stop myself. I mean, this happened as recently as 3 days ago with the property manager here. And I'm like in it. She started getting amped up. I amp up the next, and I'm like, what is happening here? And it took me, and it's not even the moment. It didn't cause a problem with her. I saw her after. It's fine. But it took me like 36, 48 hours to get over the crap that I brought into my field by meeting her resistance with resistance and reaction, instead of saying, okay, let's just move on and not talk about this anymore. I know what I'm saying is right and you're never going to agree, and that's okay. I mean, I should have never even had the conversation in the first place, but I didn't catch it. I needed to talk to her about something, but I didn't need to talk to her about that. That's why we have to sleep. It's why I say, I know I said I was coming, but I am not fit for public. I'm not going out. If you know you need that stillness, I don't care if it's Christmas Day and you're bringing the turkey. Send the turkey with the driver and you stay home. If it's not in your highest good, don't push it. Don't force it. It's especially with these energies that we're in. This 12-12 portal, we're going to feel the energetic effects of that all the way through and beyond the solstice. We have the solstice coming up. This is the season and festival of lights. There's all kind of sacred holidays. It's a very potent time, and we're winding up a 9-year cycle. So say no to what is out there that doesn't serve the need of you in here.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. That is so, it's so important to hear. And I'm so glad you shared that, because sometimes we don't have that luxury of saying, oh, you know what, I messed up. I freaked out and now I need 3 days to rest, because we're supposed to have it all together. But that is what happens. Luckily I have not freaked out in a while, but when I have,
Yeah.
I would be out for days. It's like it takes so much out of me if I freak out in some way. And it's like, oh my God, it's so not worth it. But sometimes you can't catch yourself because you just get caught up in the emotion or whatever it happens to be. And then it's like, oh man, now I'm paying the price. It's like getting drunk and the next day saying, oh man, now I'm paying the price. But it's a
And yet, there it is, the judgment and all that we were talking about, forgiveness, compassion. If you did get drunk, but you had fun, and then you're going to judge yourself, okay, you don't feel well. So then you take that in as the lesson. All right, well, however many I had, I need to have less next time so I don't end up feeling crappy. And man, that was fun. Where are you putting your attention? Do you want to make the hangover worse, or do you want to make it better? Learn something, don't do it again, but also remember whatever it is that caused that experience to happen. I remember back in the 70s, I did a lot of partner dancing. I did ballroom and all that Latin. And I had taken all my rings off, which included a diamond and a sapphire ring, and put them in the little pouch I was wearing, a sparkly silver pouch, because when I was partner dancing, you know, if your hands, the rings go. Well, I was also dancing by myself and jumping up and down so much at the end of the night when I went to get the rings out of my pouch, they were all gone. And I knew the club owner, so I even stayed and looked on the floor and asked them when they disappeared. I had about 2 minutes of angst. I was very young and these rings meant a lot to me. And then I just stood there and I said, you know what? I had such a good time. I don't care. Now, I'm not always able to do that. I truly let it go. And I never thought about, didn't have the attachment to the rings because I focused on how much fun I had losing them. If that's what it takes to have fun in that moment in my, early 20s, I'm like, then so be it. I danced all night. It was absolutely wonderful. Can I always do that? No, but I know that's where I'm trying to get to. So I have a place to anchor into, the same as if you develop a very strong daily spiritual practice, that will anchor you.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat, did you have a comment or question for Beth?
Yes.
Hello, love.
Hi there. It just reminded me of what you talked about when just recently when I had an injury because of my fight with insurance company. Boy, did I go down into a pit. I was so angry, mad. Just the whole situation was, uncalled for. And what did I do? I went to the gym to work out with my trainer. I injured my knee. I could not walk. I had to have an x-ray.
How's that anger working for you?
Yeah, see, and that was really dumb. And then I got to work trying to fix. And by the way, the defensible space people are cutting back the stuff against the house right now as we were speaking. But yeah, this is an example of me just going way the heck out of my field and being centered and being how I know how to be. And and look what happened. I hurt my knee. It was crazy. And it was bad. I had to get x-ray and blah, blah. But anyhow,
And guess what? The broken parts are always the ones that end up stronger once mended. And I know this from my own knee stuff. The more you, as I know you do, talk to your body, lay a hand on that knee. I love you. You don't have to give me any painful sensations. It changes everything. I mean, I've been working with my knees for several years now, but I am at the point where through PT, exercise, all the things, if my knee activates, I can touch it, hold it, send that energy and just say, it's okay. I hear you. Whatever you need, you got. And 9 times out of 10, that's all it needs. It doesn't need me to stop or do or shift. It just needs to be acknowledged. You know, I'm working hard for you, right? Like that. That just came through. My knee just said that. Sometimes I just want you to say, I know you're working hard for me. So I'm going to remember that. I hear you guys. We're good.
Yes. Well, anyhow, that just brought all that up.
Thank
too,
you for sharing that, because it's so important to make the connection that when we let our emotions and our left brain egoic programming take us out, that can be where it lands in your body.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm proof.
Well, and you're proof of how you can overcome too.
Yes. Yes,
so thank you for being that healer that you are.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Well, happy holidays, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
So Beth, I'm just going to take a few minutes and share the special offer page for everyone. I know Suzanne. Suzanne is like, I gotta go. It's late. It's like 10:30.
Thanks for staying up, Suzanne.
All right, here we go. So Beth has her package includes a 60-minute private one-on-one session, as well as a special bonus of a 3-month subscription in the I Am Soul monthly energy healing circle. I'm just going to scroll down here. So Beth, do you want to tell us what this personal session with you is like and what people can expect?
It really is whatever a person needs. That's always how the work is. Even if I had a session the other day with someone where we had intended to clear a certain persona that was obviously active and interfering with this woman's ability to receive money for her Reiki services. And yet by the time the session came up, that was not what we did. And it's still there sort of hovering, like maybe next time we'll do that. So whatever it says here is the framework, the structure for the work. It isn't the specificity of how it will come forth. The point of this type of neuroenergetic healing session is to understand how your nervous system is interacting with your body and where you have trapped emotions and trauma and stress and all that. Much of it can come from your timeline, from past lives, from mother, fathers, lineage, and intergenerational trauma that you've inherited. And so the work centers around that, identifying what's blocking you from living your life in a fully awakened state where happiness and abundance flow. Whatever you need in the moment is what we will do in the session.
Absolutely. And that's how I think it should be. It's like whatever is coming up in the moment, because it's always our higher selves that are bringing through what needs to be worked on, right?
Absolutely.
It's not always our conscious mind.
That's right.
Then, you want to talk a little bit about the special bonus of the 3-month subscription in your monthly energy healing circle?
Actually, is Pat still here? Pat, are you still here?
Yes, I am.
Can you give Pat has been in the healing circle since it began, and she is very connected. Obviously, as with all work, what you put in is what you get out. Pat makes the time, she shows up. What do you see as the most supportive? What's the most important aspect of the healing circle for you?
Yes, the healing circle, of course, I make time for it because it's so varied, and there's different ways that the energy comes in, and just how Beth leads us. It's just amazing. As a group, our M field is so strong. You can feel everyone's energy building and helping, and just being connected to that M field is just magnificent.
I knew you were going to say that, because she always says that. And that's why I asked for, thank you, Pat, because I know that put you on the spot, but you came through with flying colors. That's really the power. You got a taste of the work because it's what we did essentially. This is a version of what we would do and the activation we did. And as much as the teaching and the energy healing and the work brings to people, it's that M field support because it's there all the time. If you show up when two or more come together, an M field, a morphogenetic field is created. And if you keep showing up and then you expand it with more people, the exponentially, the energy of the M field expands. So we have situations where somebody asks for healing for a loved one, and then they report that, 2 days later, they're fine because we just put the call out and say, can you hold space for this person? You can get that for yourself through participating in the monthly energy healing circle. There's a portion that is teaching based on whatever the guidance is for the needs in that month. We meet the first Saturday of every month, and there is a recording if you can't make it live. But I will say that showing up live is much more potent because after we do the teaching and the journey, the activation, there's generally, unless we're guided not to, a Q&A. So like this, you can interact, you can have questions answered. It's a really nice format for awakening and having a community of like-minded people to connect with.
Awesome. Beautiful. Sounds very powerful. I love it. So of course, Beth's package is $167. There's some wonderful testimonials from folks who have worked with Beth in the past, so that you can check them out on the special offer page as well. If you are an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code as well. And there is a payment plan available. So please do take advantage of this special offer that Beth is offering to really assist you and support you in moving forward in your life. We all could use support right now. I would like to say, yes, we can all do it ourselves. And sometimes we can do a lot of things by ourselves, but sometimes we do need that extra support. Sometimes we get in our own way. Sometimes we can't see things, because we're just blinded, right? It happens. I mean, so this support is, again, available for you with Beth through her personal session, plus the 3 months in her monthly group, which I think sounds amazing and so powerful. And right now, with the holidays coming, I know we all need support dealing with our families. That is just the humanness of us, right? We have families, we have relationships, we get triggered, etc. And we don't all think the same way. We don't all have the same beliefs, and so things can come up, unfortunately, right? Again, check it out. See, look at the package. Look at the monthly energy healing circle. See how that resonates with you, and do what's right for you. Right? All we want ever is for you to feel supported. Know that you're not alone. Support is always available, and you don't have to go through things alone. I am like that lone wolf who's like, I can do it by myself. I don't need anybody. I don't need support. That was me in the past.
Me too. I got this.
Yeah, exactly. I got this. I should be able to handle this. I don't need anybody. I'm good. But sometimes it just takes a bit longer. Right? But again, support is always available.
Yes.
Exactly. But we have support here in the physical. We also have a lot of support in the higher realms as well. So please do, connect to both and reach out and get the support that you need. Okay. Yeah, of course. So Tina says, if my sister wasn't my sister, I would not even talk to her or interact at all. She is my sister for a reason.
Absolutely.
One of those sisters.
Very smart, because you guys picked it. So figure it out, surrender into it, move through it.
Yeah.
Leave behind what isn't yours to carry.
Surrender into the moment the best you can. Let go of the identity. Let go of the stories and the attachments. Right? Holding on to a story or an attachment, if it doesn't serve you, let it go. Right? I held on to a lot of stuff for too long.
Marianne Williamson tells a wonderful story of meeting with an old boyfriend after many years had passed, and they're having a wonderful time catching up, and it's beautiful. And she said, I don't know if I didn't meditate that day. I don't know. All I know is I'm looking at this beautiful human being who's just flowing love. And what do? I decide to reach all the way back and lay before him every wrong he ever did when we were involved. And I watched his face crumble and I couldn't stop myself. That's why you need to do the spiritual practice, so that you don't reach back and keep dragging. Because meantime, all the years she hadn't been around this guy, she was still carrying that. How was that work?
Time to let it go.
That's
Time
right.
to let it go. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Beth. This has been so wonderful. So it's always so much fun talking to you, and the energies, that we share on this call with everybody have been just so powerful and so magnificent. And I'm so glad that you all were here with us today. And thank you for sharing in your questions and your comments and feedback in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. We will have one more show next week, so stay tuned for that. But thank you so much, Beth. And we will have the recording out in a little while. That process was so powerful. I mean, I think you probably called it the 1212 activation, 1212 portal activation, but it was so powerful. So please go back and listen to that again, and listen to it again many times between now and the end of the year. It will support you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share, Beth? I keep Pat there.
We were playing hearts, slamming hearts all over. I just want to tell everybody that if it's not working, don't do it. This year done with Christmas already, and I asked my daughter if we could please not exchange gifts, because I am overwhelmed by stuff, and not the amount, but the whole year has been, what do I have? Where is it? Is it safe? Can I use it? What do I need? I don't want any more stuff. I don't want to think about stuff. I don't want to think about shopping. And I was so worried about offending her. And in reality, she was excited. She was like, that works for me. Great. So I'm done. The twins wanted money for a surfboard. They got that. I am done. And that's what I need, so that when the days come, I can tune in that morning and say, yeah, this doesn't feel good. I'm not going to go over there. Or I can go over there. I can go for an hour and I'm leaving. I let go of all the fixed ideas. I let the expectations, the demand, the pressure that I put on myself, that the holidays have put on me. All my life, I was a big Christmas person. All my Christmas stuff burned up. I took that as a sign. I'm doing Christmas exactly how I wanted to do, and I challenge and gift you all the invitation to do that as well. If it works, do it. If it brings joy and light, participate. If it doesn't, stay home.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, everyone. So we will see you next week. Well, for one more show for the season. So if I don't see you next week, happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, everyone. Much great
and
love.
enjoy this 12/12 portal energy, right? It is powerful. There's a lot going on, but it's a completion year as well. So we're in that completion energy as well. So let go, just surrender and let go, and bring in the energy of the new. Bring in the energy of 2026 and new beginnings on all layers, on all levels, and all in different ways, right? So just be an allowance and just be. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Beth. This was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I always do. So thank you.
Me too. I always love what we bring forth, Shefali. Always.
It's always so relevant.
It always is. It's like I was thinking yesterday, well, we already talked about surrender. What are we going to talk about? And the team said, you're going to talk about surrender. You're never done. Yeah. I mean, and exactly. Good, right?
Yep. It's so important.
Always. It is.
Yeah.
So
So thank you
thank
so
you
much,
for
everyone.
having
Thank you.
me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to all of your community.
Oh,
Appreciate you
absolutely.
all.
Loved it. Loved it. Always welcome.
And your
I will
dog.
have the, yeah, he's quiet now. I'll have the recording out in a little while, so please stay tuned for that. And yeah, until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now.